Welcome to Authentic English Podcast, your weekly show where education meets recreation. Here's your host with 20 years plus of teaching experience, Marcia Pike.
Marcia Pike here. Thank you so much for tuning in to another Authentic English Podcast episode. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Want to get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial? You, Authentic English Podcast listener and viewer can. Just go to audibletrial.com/AuthenticEnglish. There are over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. I'm going to add the link to the show notes, okay? So let's get to today's show. Today's show is the last part of the 3-part series about gun control. If you still haven't tuned in to parts 1 and 2, go back and check out episodes 21 and 22 to learn gun control vocabulary and compound adjectives. As today's show is about the second conditional, don't forget to check out episode 18 to learn about the first conditional, okay? Let's dive right into the second conditional. It takes 1 hour for a person to get a gun in the United States. If it took some months for a person to get a gun in the United States, it might dissuade them to commit crimes in the heat of the moment. Schools don't provide proper counseling and anti-bullying programs. If schools provided proper counseling and anti-bullying programs, students may not feel impelled to retaliate with mass shootings. There isn't strict gun control. If there were strict gun control, there would be less gun violence. Note that with the verb to be, grammatically speaking, were is always used. If I were, if you were, if he were, if she were, if it were, if we were, if you were, if they were. However, was can also be used colloquially. If I was, if he was, if she was, if it was. Let's analyze the following sentences. If it took some months for a person to get a gun in the United States, it might dissuade them to commit crimes in the heat of the moment. If schools provided proper counseling and anti-bullying programs, students may not feel impelled to retaliate with mass shootings. If there were strict gun control, there would be less gun violence. Let's analyze the structure. If plus simple past, comma, modal verb, may, might, could, would, plus base form. Note that the sentence can start with the if clause. If there was strict gun control, there would be less gun violence. Or with the main clause. There would be less gun violence if there was strict gun control. However, notice that when the sentence starts with the main clause, there is no comma separating the main clause from the if clause. It sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? From previous experience with my students, the structure itself does not seem to be the problem. If plus simple past, comma, modal verb plus base form. The modal verb is used according to the certainty of the situation. The modal verbs may, might, and could express possibility, whereas would expresses certainty. However, what is tricky for students is understanding when the second conditional is used. Let's go over the 3 examples we just discussed. It takes 1 hour for a person to get a gun in the United States. Note that this is true in the present. Let's imagine how this present situation would be different. If it took some months for a person to get a gun in the United States, it might dissuade them to commit crimes in the heat of the moment. Note that the situation is in the present. Nonetheless, the verb tense in the if clause is in the past. Schools don't provide proper counseling and anti-bullying programs. This is a true situation in the present. Let's imagine how this present situation would be different. If schools provided proper counseling and anti-bullying programs, students may not feel impelled to retaliate with mass shootings. And the last example, there isn't strict gun control. This situation is in the present. Let's imagine how it could be different. If there were strict gun control, there would be less gun violence. The second conditional is used in unreal, imaginary, or hypothetical situations in the present. In the previous examples, we're simply just imagining how the present situation would be different. I guess what throws students off is that the situation is in the present. However, the verb tense in the if clause is in the simple past. This is what's really confusing for English learners. Well, if you want to go the extra mile, please email me at marcia@authenticenglishpodcast.com to get a free transcript of today's episode. If you want a bigger challenge, try listening to my podcast, just the audio, before watching the video. This will definitely help you improve your listening skills even more. You can listen to Authentic English Podcast on Apple Podcasts if you have an iPhone, or Stitcher if you have an Android phone. All you've got to do is download the Podcasts and Stitcher app to your cell phone. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you still haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel so that you'll get a notification as soon as a new video comes out, okay? If you know anyone who will also benefit from today's content, please share it with them. Sharing is caring. Well, I hope you have a great week listening to your free audiobook from Audible. Have a good one.
Great having you with us today. Keep on with Marcia on social media. Head over to authenticenglishpodcast.com to practice what you've just learned. And subscribe, rate, and review. Take care.